What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, check this out. So I said I was going to come back to this topic discussing Avatar, The Last Airbender, and the live-action Netflix adaptation. I said I was going to come back to this because, listen, I saw everybody's comments on that Sokka video where I was discussing how they're removing the sexism out of Sokka's character, and I said, hey, yo, this is a big warning sign right now, okay? This is a very, very big warning sign. They're taking out this. What else are they going to take out? What other changes are they going to make to some of these characters? What else are they going to do? And everybody came out, not everybody, but a lot of y'all came out, DA, don't blow this out of proportion, bro. It's just one little minor character adjustment that they're making to Sokka. Is not a big deal. Okay, y'all can go ahead and believe that. And listen, I don't have a problem with people having differences of opinion. That's great. I love it, all right? I love reading all of those comments, the dissenting opinions, all of them, okay? Fantastic. No problem with that whatsoever. But I do want y'all to come and pay attention to what it is that I'm seeing, because I say, hey, they changing this. What else are they going to do? You know? And pretty soon, if you keep changing little bits and pieces of this show or the story that was told originally, is it even really Avatar anymore? You know, it's like, what is it? The ship of Theseus? You know, that little analogy, like if you just keep replacing different parts of the ship and you rebuild them and everything, is it still the ship of Theseus? You know, it was on WandaVision. I can't remember the exact one, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, just look at this headline. This is the interview where everybody's getting a lot of information from. Look at this headline on this IGN interview. The big Netflix Avatar, The Last Airbender producer interview. This is a remix, not a cover. That tells you everything you need to know. This is their quote, okay? They are saying it's a remix, not a cover. All right, so what does it mean to be a remix? Well, that's a song, right, that was popular perhaps, or maybe not. But they remix the elements of the song. They may add a little bit more to it. They may add another verse, you know, or they may change up the sound. You know, the entire sound of the song is just completely different, all right? It's not a cover, okay? It's not a cover. A cover is like, hey, we're doing the exact same song the exact same way. You know, but they might add something to this or they might remove stuff from it. That's basically what they're saying about Avatar: The Last Airbender. You know, we remixed it. We're adding to it or we're removing from it. And so I'm not going to read through this entire interview because this interview is long. OK, I've already read it, and I suggest if you want to know more, you read it, too. But what I'm going to do is go to this article on Forbes. Netflix's The Last Airbender keeps throwing up endless red flags. And this is by Paul Tassi, somebody I don't necessarily rock with all the time. All right. But I'm going to read through his entire article because he brings up several important points that I think everybody should be aware of. And again, it just lends to what I'm saying is that if you change one thing, all right, what else did they change? Oh, now they changed this. All right, what else are they changing? You know, and you start to understand, hey, this is why the creators bounced. Okay. Bryan, Konietzko, and Michael Dante DiMartino, they bounced. They said, nah, we out of here. Deuces. Okay. We outro because they're changing up all of the stuff that we wrote, you know, and they're going to, well, we got to do it for the television adaptation. Well, okay. Certain things you do absolutely have to change anytime you adapt something from a novel or from a cartoon or from a television series, whatever. If you're adapting it to a film or you're changing mediums in any sort of way, there are going to be some changes. But like we saw with One Piece, they kept to the themes and the feelings of the original. So it's not like a One Piece, you know, person that loved One Piece. He's walking into this show feeling like, oh man, I feel like a stranger in a foreign land right now. I don't understand what's going on here. That's not how you should feel when you're walking into an adaptation. You know, you should get as close to the original as humanly possible. I've been saying this ever since I started this channel. That's how you do any type of adaptation, you know? But yeah, let's go ahead and check out this article. Let's see what we got. When it was announced that Avatar: The Last Airbender was getting a Netflix adaptation, everyone groaned and rolled their eyes, flashing back to M. Night Shyamalan's failed movie attempt. Then they perked up when the original creators were revealed to be involved. Then they grew suspicious when they left. Then everyone was excited about how accurate casting looked and how good the trailers were. But now, yeah, I was one of those. You guys can go back and look at some of the stuff that I was putting out there. Man, I was stoked about Avatar: The Last Airbender. I even brought it over there on Echo Base, man. On Echo Base Network, I was pumping them up. Oh, man, I can't wait to this. This looks amazing. I was so excited, you know. I mean, I was pumped. Yeah, but now, the more those involved with the show talk about it, the more it seems they are changing the source material in ways that miss many points of the animated series, and it feels like it's becoming more clear why the original creators left. Every time I turn around, there's a new quote that feels like a red flag here. First, we started with the removal of Sokka's sexism, which is an important part of his character growth as he learns to respect powerful women over the course of the show and the first season in particular. I feel like we also took out the element of how sexist Sokka was. I feel like there were a lot of moments in the original show that were iffy, said Katara's actress, and I'm gonna mess this up, I'm sure, Kia Winchio. Okay, but yeah, this is the article the part that I was talking about. You know, basically, like, yeah, Sokka is a giant sexist. And yeah, it is just one aspect of his character, but it's an important aspect, and it taught a very valuable lesson to kids coming up and watching it. So why lessen that? Why take that out? Why remove that? What is it that you're trying to do here? It doesn't make any sense. Leave the characters as they are, you know? At least get certain elements of the characters 100% right. And yeah, I'm sure they're going to still have Sokka be the wisecracking character that he always has been, you know, but there was no reason to take out his sexism at all. None whatsoever. So yeah, that's a big red flag. That's a big warning sign right off the bat on that very first interview and that very first information they gave. Now they are said to be reshaping Katara's character. There are certain roles that I think Katara did in the cartoon that we didn't necessarily also do here. I mean, I don't want to really get into a lot of that, but some gender issues that didn't quite translate from the cartoon, said producer Albert Kim. So that tells you everything you need to know about where these cats are coming from. They're looking at it through the lens of gender, you know? And that has DEI smell all over it, all right? They're talking about, oh, well, you know, some of this stuff, these gender issues are very uncomfortable, and we don't want to promote any of that type of stuff. You know, we want Katara to be a certain type of way. Like he goes through it and says, yeah, this may be referring to Katara acting as a maternal figure to the group. Again, hugely important, or her dealing with Sokka's sexism, which was another part of conflict and character growth. Yeah, I think it's absolutely probably due to the maternal figure stuff. If you guys remember the show, Katara, there was an entire episode dedicated to it, you know, where the gang, Toph and Aang and Sokka, they were kind of getting sick and tired of, you know, Katara acting like a mom, you know. I think Toph is the one that was really having a problem with that. You're not my mother, you know, like, get off my back. I didn't come out here to hang out with y'all so I could get lectured to like you're my mom or something. And that was one of the problems. And Katara, I'm not your mother, you know, like, I'm not going to go into the story, but you guys remembered if you're Avatar fans. Like, that was a very big part of Katara's growth. You know, of her learning to like, hey, got to accept these cats too, just as they are. And then they have to look at Katara in a different fashion. Like, yo, you are trying to make sure that we're okay. You are trying to take care of us through this crazy journey that we're on. And, you know, it was a very important moment. I think one of the better moments that Katara had with Toph, especially. So I'm not sure if they've removed it or not removed it. Who knows? But the fact that they're saying, yeah, you know, we didn't really want to get into a lot of these gender issues that didn't quite translate from the cartoon. It's starting to speak to the fact that these cats, they were uncomfortable with some material from the original cartoon, and they decided to make changes to it, you know, for the better, quote unquote, you know. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the original creators, Bryan, decided to, deuces, okay, we outro. We're not dealing with this. This is trash. And it says Aang is not spared either, as they are changing his core personality from the start. So we decided to make Aang's narrative drive a little clearer. In the first season of the animated series, he's kind of going from place to place, looking for adventures. He even says, first, we've got to go to ride the elephant koi. It's a little looser, as befits a cartoon. We needed to make sure that he had that drive from the start, and so that's a change that we made. We essentially give him this vision of what's going to happen, and he says, I have to get to the Northern Water Tribe to stop this from happening. That gives him much more narrative compulsion going forward, as opposed to let's make a detour and go ride the elephant koi, that type of thing. So that's something, again, that's part of the process from going from a Nickelodeon cartoon to a Netflix serialized drama. Okay, so this type of stuff is a problem to me, man. I got a big problem with that. Oh, yeah, let's just remove the elephant koi that he wanted to go and ride. And on the surface, it doesn't sound like a big deal. But at the same time, this is a part of Aang's charm. You know, this is the stuff that endears us to the character. So it's almost like they don't think that the character needs this moment, or this character doesn't need this level of charming, actions. Oh, I'm just a kid wanting to go out there and have a good time. I don't want to be the Avatar. Like, that was his thing. He didn't want to be the Avatar. He just wanted to be a kid having fun with his friends. And so, him having to take on that responsibility and everything, that was a huge part of his character growth. But at the very beginning, we see him going on all these little misadventures. I'm just trying to get it, have fun, And that was carried out throughout the entire series. He just wanted to be a kid, but then slowly but surely, he has to realize, I can't just do that. I got a responsibility, to the world. And so I got to take care of it. And he goes into this part as well, Paul Tassi. No, what? The entire point is that he's this goofy kid who doesn't understand the gravity of the situation, but is slowly shaped in into being the hero and warrior he needs to become. This is like if the One Piece adaptation made Luffy some gritty pirate trying to get his revenge for his mentor instead of a guy constantly shouting about getting the One Piece for its own sake and trying to find a cool ship. Exactly. The first thing that Aang wants to do after he's broken out of the ice by Katara is he wants to go penguin sledding. Like, that's what's on his mind, not being the Avatar, not saving the world or taking on the Fire Nation. Hey, Katara, you want to go penguin sledding? That's what I want to do right now, And they ain't even trying to hear anything that they talking about. Yo, man, the Fire Nation, blah, blah, blah. You're the Avatar. Man, we've been waiting on you. Yeah, let's go penguin sledding. Right? And it sounds kind of childish and it sounds kind of silly, but that's who Aang's character is. He is very childish. He's very simplistic, and then after that, he wants to go and ride the elephant koi, and then that's how he comes into conflict with the Kyoshi warriors. And then he wants to go visit his friend Bumi and ride on the little, the carts, right? The little stone carts that they were moving around. He wants to go and ride on those because that's what he did as a kid. But then he comes into conflict with Bumi, and Bumi puts him through the trials, so on and so forth. But every step along the way, Aang's, mission to go out there and have fun and be just a kid, it just brings him closer to the fact that, I got to be the Avatar, Everywhere he's going, he's coming into conflicts. The prison camp that the Fire Nation is running with these Earthbenders. He comes into conflict with them. It's like, you got to be the Avatar. Like, all these little side quests and adventures that he's going on just to have a good time. Ultimately bring him to that point that he can no longer ignore his responsibilities. And so, but see, the thing about it is that charm is what brings us in to enjoy the character of Aang, the fact that he is just a kid and he has a huge, heavy responsibility on him. And it's like, what is this little kid gonna do about this? And that's what makes Avatar: The Last Airbender, that's one of the best parts of the show. The first season, I'm telling you, I love the first season. It has some of the best moments, in my opinion, whether it comes to Aang or Zuko or Katara or Sokka. Like, those characters are really well done in the first season, and it makes you care about them as you go to seasons 2 and 3. And so it makes you wonder, like, well, how's this going to work? Like, you're stripping things down, and it looks like they're, like, adding things, right? This guy says, also the show says it will show the massacre of the Airbenders, something the original series left to the imagination as they were simply gone, and it feels like it will add nothing to show it. I don't even understand what the point of this is. Why show the massacre of the Airbenders? What is that giving us? We already know they were massacred. They had an episode showing, the aftermath. We don't necessarily need to see the actual massacre of the Airbenders. So it just seems like something that they want to do, something that they're interested in showing. And listen, if nothing else was being taken out of the show and you're adding something like this, okay, maybe there's a positive that you can see out of that, But, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. But this guy, Paul Tassi, here's what he says. All of these problems may be summed up by what they're trying to turn the show into. We had to make it a serialized Netflix drama, which means it couldn't just be for kids. So they don't want it to be a kids show, even though that's what it was. It was a show made for kids, and some adults liked it, Adults can like kid content. I don't have a problem with it. Oh, you see something that was made and designed for kids, but you like it? Nothing wrong with that. But that's part of keeping to the original vision of what the show was. If they wanted to make an adult show that's what Bright would have did. They didn't make an adult show. They made a kids show because that's what this show at the heart is. And it teaches those kinds of lessons. It had to also appeal to the people who are big fans of Game of Thrones And so it had to feel grounded, immature, and adult in that way too. I don't understand this appeal or this desire to always chase people who would be fans of Game of Thrones with stuff that is not Game of Thrones at all. We saw that with, what was it? Lord of the Rings, right? When Amazon went out and purchased the rights to make Lord of the Rings and they end up making that trash Rings of Power, one of the reasons that they said, oh, we want our own Game of Thrones. Yo, if you want your own Game of Thrones, go find something that's closer to Game of Thrones than finding this stuff that's not Game of Thrones. Why would you turn Avatar: The Last Airbender into something that would appeal to the people who are fans of Game of Thrones? It makes no sense. This is what I'm talking about. The mindset that goes behind all of these changes. You know, not just the ones with Sokka, you know, but the stuff they're talking about with Aang and the stuff that they're talking about with Katara. All of this stuff comes from a place of we're trying to appeal to something that is not the core source material fan base. The fans want this, but we're going to give them this, you know, like that's the problem with this crap. So you guys can get mad at me all you want to. All right. You can get upset. Oh, DA, give it a chance. No. I'm looking at what they're saying. And what they're saying is a huge red flag. The warning signs are just blinking in your face right now. And if you don't want to see it, that's fine. Listen, trust me. I hope this is good. I am an enormous Avatar: The Last Airbender fan. You guys have no idea how big of a fan I am. As a matter of fact, let me show you guys some stuff. These are gifts that I've gotten over the years, okay, from my kids. My kids know me, okay, and they know what I rock with. This is a gift that one of my kids got me, okay? Y'all see that? Y'all can see that this is something that they got me. They say, hey, Dad, this is something you might like. Go ahead and get that for your birthday. Here goes another gift. I want to say this was... this one might be Christmas, okay? Y'all can see what I'm showing y'all here, right? You know, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff. This past year, I got this thing, okay? I don't really get a lot of pops. You know, I'm not a pops guy, but my kids say, hey, Dad, here go a pops you might like. Y'all see what that is, right? Y'all see what that is, right? And this is my favorite one, okay? This is my favorite one. I got to stand up and show this to you. Yeah. Yeah, this is something my kids got me. I still don't really know quite where to put it, you know, but it's just dope. Avatar, the Last Airbender map. I don't know if y'all can still hear me, but this is something that my kids got me, okay? They know how big of a fan I am. So this stuff means something to me, man. It's not just me talking shit, all right? I want this to be good. Trust me. Yeah, so they say, yeah, and so it had to feel grounded and mature and adult in that way, too. It's not the show then. It's not Avatar: The Last Airbender. Sorry, okay? And I'm with Paul Tassi on this one. This is the end of the article. As an adult, the original Avatar animated series remains one of my favorite shows, filled with life and humor and drama, and not needing to be Games of Thrones-ified in live action to make it grown up. Again, we just saw this happen with One Piece, which stayed wholly true to the original tone and spirit of the show, while The Last Airbender seems determined to rewrite and reshape key elements. This is a massive potential problem. So I 100% agree with Paul Tassi. Again, I don't always agree with him, but I agree with him here. This is something that, you know, we saw coming when the creators left. And we were all hoping that, okay, maybe they just left over minor differences and it's not a big deal. Maybe this thing is still going to be all right. But we're seeing right now that, nah, it ain't all right. Okay? It's not all right. And listen, I hope it's going to be good. You guys are going to come at me. I understand that, and that's fine. I welcome your dissenting opinions, you know, but at the end of the day, all of this stuff is just screaming red flags at me, all right? You know, maybe you guys see it differently, but this is a problem anytime when it comes to adaptations, and this is why, you know, like that previous video I did with George R.R. Martin saying all we do is, you know, talk about the things we hate. I'm talking about something that I deeply love, and it's just coming to be trash. So now I'm going to sound like a hater, but reality is I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, you know? One of the great all-time series. And so, yeah, it's just sad to see this stuff happening, but we'll see what happens, okay? I'm still hoping that somehow this thing works and it's good. And if it does, I will come out and say, hey, I was wrong about this. You know, all of my fears, they put them at ease. Everything is good. This show worked out for the best. All right, I'll absolutely come out and say that. But you guys let me know what you think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.